Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, October 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. And also, if you trade Bitcoin, I will do a bonus analysis at the end. First off, a couple clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I do like to do the video just when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting and entertaining late day price movement. And second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol NUZE, absolutely monster mover today. Whole lot of volume. And if you like volatility, if you like this price range, and this is definitely one that maybe you've already heard about, but if not, definitely keep an eye on it. So let's map out some of the current levels of resistance headed into next week, and then we can talk about some levels of support. Did I say next week? Into Friday, excuse me. So first level to keep an eye on from a resistance standpoint, right up here around this level at $2.78. I realize the price did go above it, but now with this late day movement, you can see that that was a high right there. And then late day movement, the price just is seemingly kind of stuck right below that level. Now the good news is if the price can come up here and break up through that red line there, especially if it's a high volume break, so key dynamic there, high volume break, then there are no guarantees. But would it be shocking to anybody if the price then went up there and did battle with those highs right there? I don't think that would shock anybody at all. Again, especially if it is a high volume break of that 278 mark. So keep an eye on that from a resistance standpoint. And then in terms of levels of support, main level to keep an eye on, at least in my opinion, right here we have a nice little support trend line. Let me change that to green to represent support. And that would be a key level that I'd watch on any sort of pullback right here. And then in some senses, maybe you disagree with this pattern, and I hear you, because maybe I'm fitting a square peg through a round hole here. But in some senses, do have a bit of a bull flag pattern for you golfers out there. Let me make a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down there. So there we go, a bull pennant pattern. But as a reminder, just because something's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to head back upwards. But overall, definitely an interesting chart. Next one, TVGN, and very, very shaky looking chart right now. I mean, started off the day extremely impressively, got the big breakout, but then you can see basically has pulled back the remainder of the day and is now sitting near a couple of very interesting levels. So if you are somebody that likes to buy pullbacks, first interesting level, the price right now at that purple line there, which on my chart is denoting the very well-known 50-period moving average, currently valued at $1.29. So it makes sense why the price has, kind of paused right there. You can see previously the price got somewhat close to that purple line, never tested it, but it did respect it. So that's going to be the first big question on Friday is, will the price continue to respect that level? And you're not crazy at all to think, I think the price might be getting ready to bounce. Again, that's not guaranteed to happen. That's why risk management matters. But I would not consider you crazy at all. And then for more of a bigger picture standpoint, what I'm curious about is that trend line right there. So in the event that this purple line does not hold strong, then to me, the very big question mark becomes, can that trend line right there hold? Now, if the price drops down to that trend line and breaks down through there, at that point, that's a pretty big red flag that the bulls have officially lost total control. But as of right now, big pullback underway, so keep an eye on these couple levels of support. Next one, LCID, relatively popular stock, but even if it wasn't popular with the amount of volume it had today, I'm sure it sent off quite a bit of volume scanners and will, overnight too. So have, people watching it tomorrow too. So what I'm very curious about is this trend line right here. Now, maybe you draw it a little bit differently, and that's totally fine. But what I'm trying to convey here is the idea that there is basically a big bleed for the vast majority of the day. However, as I speak right now, you can see there's been a little bit of a bounce, and this bounce is doing battle with right around the trend line area. So like I said, maybe your trend line's a little different, totally fine. But like I said, I think our psychology is the same. Psychology being absolute beatdown, now trying to show some life, which always brings about an exciting question, because this upwards move here does lead to the valid question of, okay, is this the start of more life? Is this the start of a potentially bigger bounce? And when relatively popular stocks like this get absolutely hammered down like this, again, no guarantees, but it does create very, very realistic potentials of good, solid bounces. And I mean, think about it. Even if the price just simply bounced up to there, from where the price is right now, there's a lot of, percentage that you could put in your pocket there, because these lower price stocks obviously add up that much quicker. So if you like to play these scenarios where something is absolutely beat down, starting to show some signs of life, then keep an eye on it. Next one here, NIO, and I'm going to keep this very short and sweet because it's the exact same thing I just talked about. Well-known stock, beat down. You have a nice little trend line right here. Now, the one difference here is that this trend line, I think, is a little bit more easier to draw. And the minor difference here being this has broken up through that level, but everything else remains the same. Beat down stock, and the question remains the same. Is this the start of something bigger? Is there a bigger move coming? So a couple different choices, though, if you like these sorts of psychology type plays of something getting absolutely beat down and then starting to show some signs of strength. We have LCID and then NIO. Next one here, NVDA, and overall, very, very nice day on this one, technically speaking. For those of you that watched previous video, I talked about that resistance line right there, and you can see price gapped up above it. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of both of those lines right now because as of this point, main area of support in an ideal sense, meaning, hey, Clay, what would make this chart look the absolute strongest moving forward if you were to ask me that? I would say definitely if the price can stay there above that purple line there. Right now valued at, let's just call it 135.90. So keep an eye on that. Now, if the price does not hold above there, that doesn't mean the entire chart's destroyed or anything like that, because not only do you have the pink line down here, which would serve as potential support, you also have a nice little trend line. I'm not going to draw the trend line. I guess I'll just crudely draw it, but you could draw a trend line, something like that, and that would also illustrate another area of support. So again, by no means is that purple line a do or die level. It is an ideal level. Because if the price can stay above it, then yeah, ideally that would make everything look the strongest. Now, in terms of areas of resistance, pretty straightforward right now, and it has everything to do with that level right there at the 139.50 mark. I realize the price did get up above it, but you can see every time the price got up or above that level, it was like somebody flipped the switch and the bullish momentum disappeared. So 139.60ish, right around that area, is a level that I'm not saying can't be broken, but that's more of a question of can bullish momentum be maintained and then built upon, because that's where the bulls fell today. Just could not build any sort of, and especially maintain any sort of momentum after getting above that level. So keep an eye on that for Friday. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here very soon. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching at my website, there's an area right there on the webpage you can use to get signed up. Now, one special note, it is live, so maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening. Maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you totally missed it. That is okay. Go ahead, send me an email, and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. But if you can't make it live, then get signed up, and I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one, TSLA Tesla, and this is going to be very quick because, once again, nothing to really report. I'm just continuing to do it because it is Tesla, very, very popular stock. But for those of you that have watched past videos, yes, I'm sure you remember at this point, but the sideways channel continues. So the question just continues, who's ultimately going to win this battle? This is the first video you've watched, to just quickly define the sideways channel and pattern. Top of the resistance right there, resistance right at the 223.40-ish mark. Bottom of the channel, support right down there at 214.25. But other than that, not a whole lot can be said other than just continuing to wait to see who ultimately wins the battle in this, quite frankly, a pretty epic sideways channel here that's taking place. Next one, MTEM, very, very crazy mover today. And again, if you like this price range and you like volume and volatility, this delivered on many fronts. So let's get the first key level here mapped out. And I'd call this the main area of resistance right there at 125. And I am trying to split the difference because, sure, one time you could certainly consider that pink line an area of resistance, and you could certainly consider the high right there a level of resistance. So again, that is where that area is coming from. Me just trying to kind of split the difference. So if you want to call it something different, that's fine, because I'm assuming we're still all within the general vicinity up here around the $1.25 mark. So keep an eye on that as the main area and key breakout point. And then in terms of levels of support, let me change that to green for support. Ideally, in terms of what would make the chart look the strongest, that would be if the price can stay up there above the 75-cent mark. But from the big picture standpoint, just watch that purple line right here, 50 period, simple moving average. Keyword definitely being moving. I understand the line's way down here, the price is up there. But as time goes by, that line is going to move itself higher and higher and get more and more relevant. So essentially, it's a trend line that's drawing itself for you. So if you care about the overall trend of things, then as long as the price is up above the overall trend line, then the overall trend, well, by definition, would still be bullish because you want to see the price build those higher bases. But all in all, definitely a very volatile stock today. Next one here, NTBL, and very similar to the one we just talked about. Pretty well-defined area of resistance right there at the 55-cent mark. Again, I do realize that the price did spike all the way up there, but there's just way more data points. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, right there around the 55 cent mark. So that's why I'm defaulting to that as more so kind of the key and main area of resistance right now. In terms of areas of support, no need to overcomplicate this. You have the price right now, and that's why I like to do these when the market's still open, because you can see the price is doing battle currently with that 200 period moving average. So that would be support level number 1. If this 200 period moving average does not hold, then I would definitely consider that a must-hold level down there, that purple line, the 50 period moving average. And I'm not saying this will occur, but the reason why that's so important is if the price were to come down there and break down through there, all of a sudden you'd have the price having gone right back to where it was. And that is basically the definition of, a pump and dump. Just not what you want to see, where the price spikes and then goes right back to where it was. Again, I'm not saying that's what's going to occur. I'm just saying why that right around the 32 cent mark is a very, very important level of support moving forward. So we'll see how it closes out the week on Friday. Next one, STAF. Very, very ugly looking chart here, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly, and I should note that situations like this, you better be good at managing risk, and you better be, disciplined. And I mean, if you're not good at either of those things, you shouldn't even be trading. But that's a topic for a whole nother video. But the reason why I would still say there's some opportunity in the ugly, because this is a pretty obvious statement from where the price was here to as much as it's dropped right here. That's some very ugly action, and maybe you already have noticed based on the other charts we've talked about, it's getting close to these key moving averages. So while that guarantees nothing, it certainly makes it more than plausible that could the price come down around this area and then get some sort of bounce back upwards? Absolutely. And it doesn't even need to be an epic bounce at all. Even if it just is a modest bounce relative to what was being risked, you could truly structure yourself a nice little risk versus reward opportunity. So if that's what you kind of like to do, find these ugly charts and then look for the opportunity in them. Structure nice, tight risk versus reward scenarios, and you like this price range. That one seems to fit all those criteria. Next one, TQQQ, and overall, I don't want to say a terrible day because it wasn't necessarily terrible, but I'm sure disappointed some because there was this big gap up right there, which completely fell apart. And then there was this very nice bounce, which essentially completely fell apart. But with all that being said, the price, if I were to just draw that line right there across the lows, it's still essentially sitting at the lows of the day. So it's not like it's totally collapsed or anything like that. But that is all me just talking about one day specifically. Taking a step back and looking at multiple days, there's still, the price is still plenty above key areas of support. We have the 200 period moving average right there. We have that trend line down there that I've drawn from previous videos. So again, just because the price, now, it's all about perspective. I should, make that distinction. I understand if you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, and you bought right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 7 minutes. And yes, from that perspective, the chart is a train wreck for you. But I'm making some of these other comments that if you do care about the bigger picture point of view, the chart is still hanging in there just fine for you. So keep it on those couple areas from a support standpoint. And then in terms of areas of resistance, key battleground to continue to watch right up there around $75.20. I'll get to Bitcoin here in just a second, but for you stock traders, again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool, then get signed up for the free live class. It'll be this evening, Thursday, October 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, for whatever reason, if you cannot make it live, go ahead and send me an email to clay@claytrader.com. And this truly is a live event, and I say that because there is a Q&A session. So if you have questions, please bring them. I'd be happy to answer them live for you. So go get signed up or drop me that email. All right, now let's talk some Bitcoin. First, real quick for clarification, I'm now on the 4-hour time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks represents 4 hours and no longer 30 minutes. And that is because Bitcoin is open 24/7. So in order for this analysis to remain relevant for as long as possible, I like to just use the longer time frame and then walk you through some questions as I've been doing. So I'm just going to operate under the idea that you're watching this video 20 hours after I upload it. So question number one you need to ask yourself, which has not changed from the past few days, where is the price at relative to 64,500? As long as you're answering the question that the price is above that level, everything is fine. How so? Well, let's just say the price actually pulls back here and is sitting right around here when you're watching this. All you would have in that situation is, yeah, you would have a bigger pullback, but you'd also have this big old move right there, which is now allowing me to draw a bull pennant pattern. So even with the pullback, as long as that pullback's above 64,500, sure, the price has come down, but within the bigger picture, you'd still be having either a bull flag, bull pennant pattern. Now, if you're saying, actually, Clay, the price is down below 64,500, next immediate question is, okay, well, where's the price at relative to that area right there at, we'll just call it 63,000. If somehow you were saying the price is down below there, not good. The bears have stepped up in a big way. Now, I'd be surprised if you're answering it in that way, but nonetheless, that's, the kind of a, I don't want to say a do or die level, but a much more important level. And then, of course, just common sense goes a long way. If you're saying, well, Clay, actually, the price is above 64,500, and not only that, the price is actually up here now, sitting around, well, that would just be telling you that you've got a nice little breakout from this miniature bull flag right here. So any sort of answers that the price is, up around this area, well, that, like I said, in that situation, you could say, okay, if you want to sound smart, if you want to impress the ladies or impress the fellas, you could just say, hey, Bitcoin on the 30-minute has broken out of that bull flag pattern. And as I invited the stock traders, I'm inviting you as a crypto and Bitcoin trader to get signed up for this free class, because what you learn about can and certainly should be used within the world of Bitcoin and crypto. So again, it'll be this evening, Thursday, October 17th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Please bring your questions and I'll answer them live for you during the Q&A. But if for whatever reason you can't make it live, then again, please just send me an email to clay@claytrader.com and I'd be happy to send you a link to the replay. So thanks for watching. If you enjoy these top 10 videos, as always, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, be sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have a request for me to do one in a future video, put that down in the comment section and I will definitely consider doing it. So thanks for watching and go get signed up for that free class.